Hey everyone, it's Noah from Knights of 67 back with more Siege of Orgrimmar guides for World of Warcraft patch 5.4. Today's encounter will be General Nazgrim, and this fight is by no means final simply because of the fact that Gamon is going to be involved in this fight. However, during this test he was not because the Blizzard GM said it would simplify the fight. Other than that, this is a guide on simply what we tested out, and I hope you guys enjoy. As the fight begins, you'll notice a bunch of Orgrimmar faithfuls that look like Orgrimmar grunts surrounding General Nazgrim. They are relatively simple in their role because they just need to be AoE down. They only have about 1.5 million apiece, so just AoE them all down, and you will be able to do so with relative ease. Then move on to General Nazgrim. Now, after all the adds are dealt with, General Nazgrim will do the ability Heroic Shockwave. Heroic Shockwave, he will leap onto a player, inflicting 300k damage within 10 yards of his impact location, and he will cause 3 aftershocks. The aftershocks look like a big X. You will see them throughout the course of the video, and they are extremely easy to get out of the way of. But in the event that you do not avoid them, they will hit you for 400k, which does indeed hurt very badly. And you will give 3 rage to General Nazgrim. Now, after this, you need to DPS Nazgrim until the ads come out. Now, these ads are randomly generated, but there are only 3 to 4 kinds of ads you need to worry about, but each one is very important. Now, the first one, and usually the one that does spawn first, is the Kor'kron Iron Blade. The Kor'kron Iron Blade is very important because he will do an ability called Iron Storm. Iron Storm, he will whirl around and do 200k damage every second if you're standing in it. But not to fret, because this ad can be stunned. So you want someone to stun the Kor'kron Iron Blade and have everyone burn the Iron Blade down so that he will not be pestering the raid group. But when he reaches 25% health, he will initiate Last Stand. He will increase his maximum health by 25%, and again, you just need to DPS him down as quickly as possible. The second ad that comes out looks like any caster, which is the Kor'kron Arc Weaver, and definitely you will be able to tell when it's the Arc Weaver. Now, it will do 2 main abilities, that is Arcane Shock and Magistrike. These are both interruptible, so what I would recommend is putting someone like a Death Knight and a Shaman, particularly 2 people on the Arc Weaver that can trade off interrupts, because you definitely want to interrupt these abilities because they do hurt very bad. Arcane Shock will hit for 150k, which isn't that much, but it will increase the damage of the caster by 25%. For 10 seconds, and it will stack up to 99 times. So if you keep letting it hit you, you'll be like, oh, no big deal, 150k, but it will keep stacking, so you definitely want to interrupt it. Magistrike is much of the same, inflicting 150k instantly and 30k damage every second for 20 seconds to enemies within 8 yards. So again, you want to interrupt it. So put someone like a Death Knight and a Shaman on it, 2 people in particular, maybe 3 if you really need it, but you should have the necessary interrupts. But it is very, very important that you do interrupt. The third kind of ad is Kor'kron Assassin. The Kor'kron Assassin will enter the encounter stealthed, but you will know it's there because DBM will shout it out, and it will put Assassin's Mark on a random player. It looks just like any old arrow above the player's head. If you have it, make sure to call it out so that healers know you have it, because healers need to pop all their necessary cooldowns to keep you up, because you will get backstabbed by this Kor'kron Assassin. It will hit you for 500k, so if you're not a tank, which more than likely, if you're a tank, it won't backstab you. Since you'll most likely be a DPS, you definitely need to have healers be aware of this, otherwise it could one-shot you. So that's something to be very wary of. Now, the most important ad, I'd say overall, is the Kor'kron War Shaman. Now, the War Shaman has standard Shaman abilities, of course, but why is it so important? Well, it'll put Earth Shield up Protects the target with an earthen shield that heals the shielded target for 5% of maximum health when damage is taken. Typically, it could put it on itself, another ad, or General Nazgrim. It really doesn't matter, but it's something you need to take into account. Now, empowered chain heal is very important. This is, again, interruptible, so make sure that people with interrupts, as soon as the War Shaman comes up, I would recommend everyone pours on the War Shaman because it is a very, very dangerous compromise to the raid, and it doesn't really do any damage, but it will heal the boss throughout the fight, which you definitely don't want. It will heal the boss, it will heal the ads, so it is very, very important that you take out the War Shaman as quickly as physically possible. So, like I said, you can interrupt Empowered Chain Heal because otherwise it will heal all nearby allies for 10% of their health, which is not good. And it will also summon Healing Tide Totem. This is what DPS need to be on. It has about 2.5 million, I believe. So it is very, very easy to DPS down, but as soon as it's up, you must DPS it down. And tanks need to be sure that they tank General Nazgrim similar to the area where you begin the encounter near the gate, because you don't want him to be anywhere near the ads, because this Healing Tide Totem could heal him up to full health like he did in our encounter. This totem will heal enemies for 30% of their maximum health every 3 seconds. So you see what a big deal this is, so it must be DPS down as quickly as possible. It really should only take about 3 seconds to DPS down, but if General Nazgrim is near it, if you have him at, say, 80-90%, it will completely heal him back up to health, and you'll need to start over from scratch. So it is very important that both tanks, DPS, healers know what they're doing with these ads and what to expect from this overall. Now, General Nazgrim has Rage. He has Rage like any other tank or anything else would. And basically, through the course of the fight, he will also summon these Kor'kron banners. These banners must be DPS down immediately, because otherwise it will generate 3 rage for General Nazgrim every second. He will also do an ability called Ravager. He will throw a whirling blade that will last for the duration of the battle. The Ravager inflicts 400k physical damage every second if someone's standing in it. So it's just like the Kor'kron Iron Blade ad, only it's a weapon all its own. So you definitely need to watch out for it. There's really nothing you can do. You can't stun it or anything. It's not targetable. So you just need to avoid it, and it will definitely stack up over time. So there will be like 2-3 of them at a given time. War Song is a very dangerous ability. Now, if War Song happens, it's pretty much a wipe. It could be different come live, but at least it was for us. War Song, he will unleash a hellish scream, inflicting 75% of maximum health as physical damage to all players, which is really, really bad. So you definitely don't want that. Then, after he does that, he'll do Cooling Off. After using that ability, General Nazgrim must cool off for 15 seconds. During this time, General Nazgrim cannot use abilities that cost rage. So that's when he's most vulnerable. So if there are any ads that aren't up or whatever like that, you can definitely make sure to burn General Nazgrim down as quickly as possible. So he does have numerous stances as well. He has Battle Stance, where he'll generate 1 rage point every 1 second. He has Berserker Stance, where he will basically increase his damage dealt done by 25% and damage taken by 25%, but he will also have 100% more generative rage, so that's very important. Now, defensive stance is important as well. It will reduce his damage taken by 25%. He will deflect all ranged spells and attacks from the front, and he will grant 5 rage when struck. Attacks by players affected by Sundering Blow do not cause General Nazgrim to generate rage. The only players that should be affected by Sundering Blow are the tanks. Speaking of Sundering Blow, it is a very important move that tanks must be wary of. It will hit you for about 600k physical damage, and it will sunder your armor, reducing your armor by 10% for 1 minute. It will generate 5 rage for General Nazgrim, plus an additional 5 rage per stack. You want to switch at, I believe, 3 or 4 stacks if you're a tank. You want to switch with the other tank and then handle some ads as you switch off. So again, at 3 or 4 stacks, you want to get off, and you will also place random abilities known as Bone Cracker. Bone Cracker is a very, very important ability as well. It's a debuff that he will put on a random player, and he will basically fling his mace, and he will reduce your maximum health by 50%. And you will also bleed for 40k damage every second for 30 seconds. Again, when you have this debuff, you want to call it out to your healers, because you have 50% less health, you're getting hit for 40k, so you can do the math there, every second for 30 seconds. So healers, again, you want to pop your cooldowns when someone gets hit with Bone Cracker. Other than that, that's really all this fight has to offer. You need to take care of the ads, you need to watch out and switch off for Sundering Blow if you're a tank, you need to heal up people that have Bone Cracker, have Assassin's Mark, you need to watch out for stances, DPS, ads, and banners down, and all that good stuff. This fight was very interesting, and I hope this guide was helpful enough for all of you, and I'll see you guys next time.